Welcome to Photokina 2018. We're here at Camera Rescue booth with Klaus-Peter from Gossen Light Meters.
Yes.
They've been in the business since 1933. We actually have the first model here on the table. And yeah, they make light meters for, well, digital film, studio, ambient, reflected, all kinds, even color temperature too?
And color temperature too, yes. But color temperature almost for continuous lighting, not for flash.
Okay.
So that's one restriction that we have on the color meters. But all other meters are measuring that what's necessary in the photography business. So that means we are measuring on all meters the flash. We are measuring the incident light, and we are measuring as well the reflected light, but this makes no big difference to the measurement method in the camera. So the most important thing, I think, is to measure the incident light mode, and this comes more to clear colors, and they represent the colors as they are, because you measure the light which is coming from the light source.
Okay. You've been going for over, well, almost 100 years. And how has this changed to that? I know you don't service anymore. You were telling me about servicing is too much of a hassle. You fix something older breaks.
Yeah.
So now you're focused on making new ones. They're based in Germany, which I think is a good note. Manufactured in Germany.
That's right, yeah.
You start with the smallest version, which is the Digi6 2, which, as you said, is incident reflected.
Yeah.
You have the flash version too, which they incorporate temperature, which you were telling me you can record high and low if you have your camera and the film.
And you have also a timer for long time exposures inside, and also stop watch inside.
So it can be
it's a multi-function.
Yeah, well, for shooting long exposures or anything like that, even Polaroids, if you need to know the temperature to wait, that'd be good. Then you have this one. You said was the most recommended. Yeah, versatile. Does it have the flash sync, which you can use, so you can trigger it with the light meter?
And you can also trigger it with a non-cord. So if you don't have a cord, you push the button, the measuring button, and then you fire the flashes, and the instrument recognizes that the flashes are fired. And on the other hand, you have also on the meter incident and reflected measuring. So it's switched over on this one. You shift it away. You have the reflected measurement. You shift back the dome, and then you have the incident light measurement method in one instrument.
Then I see you have one with spot metering, if I'm not wrong.
So it's a one degree spot meter.
With a little viewfinder, 1 degree spot meter, which is great, and you can actually change it.
So you can change from 1 degree to 5 degrees.
So it zooms in.
It zooms in, and
then the little dome.
It's with the little dome. So, and it's also with a flat
flat surface
measuring,
if you're doing reproduction of documents or books or anything like that.
So you can use it with this kind of setting.
2 ISOs,
And we have also zone system integrated in this model. So that's a big difference, I think, of this family. We are covering for each photographer for his ideas or for his projects. We can cover with a separate type of instrument.
How do you see the market in the light meters? I do know light meters last a long time. I actually own all my light meters are secondhand, and I'm sure it's not easy in the industry today where everyone has a screen that light meters, your camera says it. Do you see a growth of people wanting to take it more seriously and metering in studio? And
I see a differentiation on the market. So I see that we have a lot of new users or new customers because these customers are coming more from the analog side of the photography. So the light meters, I think the highlights of light meters or high volumes were sold when we have analog photography, because every time when you make a photo you have to be sure that the exposure is correct. If you have a digital camera now, you can see, okay, is the exposure correct or not? And also you have possibilities to manipulate afterwards the picture by a picture processing program or like Photoshop or so on.
So let's say that the market shooting film is actually wanting light meters because you can't see immediately.
Yes.
So the lack of that immediacy, and now Polaroid film is pretty much gone in the sense of the old school light metering. Light meters are probably more important than ever. You said the little one you can hang it from your neck, which is amazing. And this is the newer version, I'm guessing,
That's
with
the
latest
screen? Yes, it's the latest development that we did. It's some years ago. So it's stabilized now. It's more for the studio photography. And we have an integrated radio trigger, so we can trigger the cameras from the flashes from Braun, from Elinchrom, and as well as some types from Photix. And we can also use the transmitters from Photix, Braun, or Elinchrom to use a standard flash or flash of a third brand to fire it. And we have integrated system. So, and also we have on the instrument we have a very nice screen, and it's handled not as a touch screen because we decided not to do the touch screen. We have there a ring button, you can go up, down, and left, right, and the center is the big push button to make the measurement. And also the flash can be fired by this push. So if I want to measure the flash,
you can just push it,
I
and
push the measuring key, and then it fires.
So that's very useful. Yeah, I've used flashes in the studio, and the fact that you can trigger helps you not have an assistant. So you don't have to walk up, flash, trigger, and have someone do it. So
and
that's great.
We can also control with these types from Elinchrom and from Braun.
You can control the
power,
settings on
the power of the flashes.
Okay.
And that's very interesting because you don't have to go to the flash itself. You can do it from far distance. And it's also possible that you use the radio trigger of your flash system. And it has also the possibility either to connect it to the sync output, or you can also set the meter and use it as a non-cord. So you go on measuring, you fire the flash, and the meter catches the flash. I think that's one of the main applications that we have nowadays for flash metering, for flash or exposure metering. It's the studio photography, and it's also the analog photography. And the third one, I think, is also if you are measuring outdoors, you can measure the part of the flashlight if you use flash for highlights or for lighting.
Yeah, you will want to be sure about it. So, yeah. And this one, I guess, would be the best one for large format because spot metering and the zone system.
Yes.
Does it have settings that you can save the highest reading and the low, like shadows?
Yes, it has the meetings you can set, or you can make 9 measurements, and
so you can
calculate the average value, and then you skip back to the normal measuring, and it shows you for this average value the right shutter speed and the right.
So you can get a scene and measure different places, and it'll give you the average.
Exactly.
That's very useful. And about the history, you guys have been selling these light meters for so many years.
Yeah.
Now you're branched out to another industry too. You were telling me, do you see an increase in the light meters from a few years back? Because when digital started and film was, left on the side. Have you seen an increase in interest in the light meters?
Yeah, it's for us it's a stable market. It's nearly stable, so it has a small swing. So we have 1 year which is a little bit slower. 1 year is a little bit more, but it seems to be stabilized at the level. And hopefully also if the people are doing workshops, that's what we recognize. If they learn how to use flashes, in the most cases everybody has a light meter afterwards. So for me it's the only way if you want to come to a quick result and a perfect measurement, and you don't sort out a lot of pictures because you make a shot with minus plus steps. So it's quite easier if you do this. You make one measurement, You make one shot and you have the right result.
No, and now
screen.
now that we're going to have slide film again, light meters are really important with slide film.
Yeah.
I think Marwan told me, Marwan for Photo Classics, that you helped them with their Photo Classic Academy.
Yeah.
With the light meters and all that.
We made together some workshop, and I showed to the members of the workshops. I showed to them how to use the light meter, and also assisted him when they set up light scenes. And it was a really terrible light scene because we are doing film noir shooting.
Oh yeah,
and
so very
film
extreme.
noir means extreme contrasts, yeah. And there you have to measure exactly, otherwise you get a result, but that's not what you want to have. Yeah.
No, yeah, when you're looking for a big contrast, you really need to know what you're doing. So that's great that you're helping with workshops. I think it's true that we need the newer generation or new people to film, because there's a lot of people that never shot film and now want to get back onto it or start again. And learning how to use all these tools before the knowledge goes away. You were telling me that your technicians that used to fix the old light meters have all passed away, and now there's no, we have to see if we can get that knowledge to the new generations with film.
What we see is you see the difference is the analog display from the very old meters. Also the inside possibilities have changed a lot. So from the metering side, we had in the past time silane as a sensor, and it generates itself a voltage where you can put on the analog display, and you need no battery on these meters. But the main problem is on these old meters that the silane sensors, they get less and less voltage out in the time. So it's difficult. These meters are showing something, but they are not measuring anymore.
Yeah, they're not accurate.
They are not accurate, and you cannot say, is it a correct value or not? And in the past time, it was so in the 70s and 80s of the last century, that you have to pay a lot of money for these meters. But nowadays we are talking, it's an average price, an entrance price is between 150 euros and 280 euros, depending on the starting price, except the high-end models, the premium models. And especially for these meters, it's better to take a new one, to have the full service and to know, okay, they are calibrated, and not to take an old one or rely on the old one. Yeah. And if it's damaged, it's also a little bit difficult, because we cannot do any repair on these meters. We have no spare parts.
Yeah, the older ones.
The older ones, we have also no people.
And the newer ones, the displays, the functions they have. I mean, the fact that this one can be a timer, temperature control, alarm clock, all those things are very useful, especially if you're shooting long exposures, things that you normally pull out your phone. You can have a light meter like this and not need it.
It's also when you take, for example, the 6-to-Martiv2, you can also measure the contrast of the light. So there is an opportunity that you say, okay, I want to go over the scene, and if you go over the scene, you can see that there is a minimum and a maximum aperture that you get, and you see how is the contrast in the scene that you want to use, the light contrast, or also the subject contrast.
Okay.
So that's a very interesting thing. Also, we have a min-max on the DigiSky. So if you do measurements on the DigiSky, you can register the minimum, the maximum value, and also the average. If you take these three ones, you can use it, for example, for a shot, ADR shot, as a base for three different pictures.
So
you can merge them in the Photoshop or in any other program.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for explaining Gossen and continuing making light meters, especially focused for us film people. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks. We will keep them alive, and thank you for the time that you spent with us.
Happy to share this and to see your products.